what do women want?
What do women want?
You've given me a lovely answer, and we'll probably have to make this the last because we've managed to like smash way past. I didn't realize how long we'd be talking for.
Yeah.
So final two questions. Let's try and do it in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. What do women want? And can we even do? No, I tell you what, you have to come back so we can talk about God. Okay.
You want to talk about God?
Yeah. Well, no, I do, but I mean, we need more than 5 minutes.
From an Anglican.
Yes.
That's funny. Okay.
Well, my best friend calls me about 4 to 5 times a week, and we talk about the possibility of a God existing. He's a Christian and is attempting to convert me.
Yeah, that's a bad start. Tell him to stop.
Well, no, not convert me, but he's attempting to get me to confront what I actually believe about it.
Yeah.
And it's a question which was not asked very much in my life.
Yeah.
And coming from somewhere where people blew each other up over religion, I didn't enjoy it as a child. So my brain is resistant.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of truth to what he's telling me.
No,
and he is just encouraging me to like do my research.
Just explore it. Yeah. I genuinely, I wish I could have like a podcast series where I could just encourage people to explore that, because, you know, they're just like, it's a bunch of mambo jumbo. You shouldn't believe in anything because it doesn't exist. And I was like, okay, prove it. Prove it doesn't exist, right? It's the same thing. It's both sides of the same coin. We can go back and forth on the same argument. Anyway, what do women want?
Yes.
Women want security. That's one of the things. I mean, you have to look at what women want. You have to understand in terms of what we fundamentally fear. Like having a child before the advancement of medicine would have killed us, right? We make huge sacrifices to be with a man. So being with a man, there has to be a level of security there in terms of how you treat us, how you protect us, how you provide for us. And that fundamentally comes from a kind of a cluster of personality traits or character traits that men really should have, especially if they want the kind of women that they want. If you want women just for sex, that's a completely different conversation. But if you're talking about women as in a long-term relationship with a beautiful feminine woman that's on your wavelength, you need to provide her with a sense of security, which means you need to have, even if you don't have like this high-flying CEO career, you need to have the character traits of someone that's capable of being able to always provide and to protect. So you need to be disciplined. You can't be fat, because if you're not disciplined with your body, you can't be disciplined with providing for a family or a woman, right? You need to be confident, because someone who's confident and outgoing is going to going to go through hell to provide for their family, right? You need to be a man of your word. So you need to have, you have to be honest and loyal and all of that. Even if it pisses her off, you realize you can walk through London and get stabbed. Are you scared of a 5'2" blonde woman yelling at you? That's true. It's true. Most men cower from women, and it's just like, do you realize what you're cowering from? Are you dating like Rasputin? Your woman is like 5'3" and brunette, So I think it's more about the provision and the character traits, and also you have to have a sense of purpose and a mission outside of your woman, right? I say woman, I sound like such a caveman, but it's true. I don't respect a man that makes me his mission. I don't. I want to know that you are striving for something, even if it's building a shed, right? Even if it's buying a new car, even if it's building a company. I need to know that even outside of me, you're good. I can't be your focus. Like, I don't like men that are always messaging me, right? I just tune out. I'm like, aren't you busy? Are you doing something like building an empire? And the kind of men that have that approach are a little bit arrogant, but I think that's a good thing, because they know that their legacy means something. I don't think we talk enough to men about legacy. Right? And it's because we're living in this diluted world where even the conversation of a woman taking her husband's last name when they get married is like, it's misogyny.
Well, legacy is very focused on, you have to consider your own mortality.
Yes.
Which is something that I have discovered through COVID that many people are not willing to confront.
Exactly. And they're worried about it, or they're like, they're scared of, they fear aging. I don't think aging is a problem. Actually, I enjoy it. I think it's, the older you get, the wiser you get. It's fun. You know more things.
I like not being a stupid 20-year-old. It's fun.
Exactly. But I think men should have a look at their legacy. And I think that should be the biggest thing that you understand. If you're a man, that's like, because the thing is, women are also, we have an ego, right? The man we're with is kind of like a status signal to the world, in the same sense that a man who's with an ugly woman is sending a different status signal than a man who's with a 20-something-year-old hot, juicy looking model, And it's true. But we want to be with a man that's like, I'm proud to have his children, right? Because this is not a man. He's not a subject of ridicule. He's a serious man. He's a man of competence, right? And all that comes into the whole protection aspect. You can't protect and provide if you're incompetent, if you're undisciplined, and if you're disloyal and you're not a man of your word. right? All of that is wrapped into one. You need to be a solid guy. You need to know that you're a guy who people can go to for something, people can depend on, even if they don't like what you have to say. They know you're going to be honest. You have to have these character traits, and women will naturally gravitate towards you because they're few and far between. I know my brother's gotten women because he didn't ask them for nudes, because the bar is so low for how men and women treat each other that women...
Is that the bar?
The bar is in hell. It's like he didn't ask her for nudes, and so she was like, oh yeah, come over. He's like, what? Wait, what? I don't know you. You're someone's daughter. Why am I going to ask you for nudes?
That was enough?
Yeah.
Right?
But again...
Is that how low the bar is?
The bar is low. But the thing is, all the things I'm describing, that is my brother, but he's 23. So he's already ahead of the curve. But that's because culturally, psychologically, he grew up in an environment that embedded these sorts of values in him, right? Most people don't. They don't have that.
Yeah. I guess the single motherhood rate through the 90s probably has contributed to that, actually, now that I think about it. Because I never had anyone say like what it meant to be a man. No one taught me that. The first people that I heard talking about that were Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan. Yeah. And that was when I was like 23, 24. And that was the first people that were ever like speaking about that. And I was like, well, my best friend as well, to be fair to him. But I was just like, no one spoke to me like this.
No one said this. Yeah.
No one, like the only thing I've heard about masculinity my entire life is that it's toxic.
Yeah, exactly. But that is the problem. But the thing is, the women complaining about toxic masculinity go for toxic men because they're not attracted to these weak soy boys. And I often say that. And the thing is, men have this idea that getting with a woman or being all the things that I just described for women to want is a mammoth task. And I really don't think it is. I think it's
also like, however large you consider the task to be, it's worth it.
It's worth it. And also, if you naturally have it in you. Men are not, when you find yourself getting depressed because you don't have a lot to do, that's your male imperative saying something to you. It's like lighters blinking, right? You just have to lean into your masculinity. You don't have to do much in the sense of actually constructing it. You have to do much in terms of building it, but actually getting the drive and the focus and the determination to actually be that character I've described. You just have to lean into what you already have. I often say, like, people are like, oh, but Esther, you have such high standards. I'm like, I really don't. All I look for, mutual attraction, same vision and values for our life. That's it. Because those are the foundations that will keep a marriage together. And the vision and the values is because I'm a Christian, obviously, I look for someone who sees our marriage as not just two people pairing up, but we're entering an institution, and that institution is bigger than us. And then we have people like our family, like our children, that depend on the solidness of that institution. So once you look at it from that approach, it means a lot more, right? And it's a lot more meaningful, and you're part of a bigger structure that you don't feel like you're isolated and like, oh, he left the toilet seat up, I'm going to divorce. That sort of flimsy kind of naive outlook. And I say, look, I would be with a plumber who didn't have a degree, who didn't have any post-secondary school education, but he was the man of vision and of purpose and of drive that I was describing. It's not that difficult.
Well, that feels like a nice place to leave things. We've just tipped past 90 minutes. I hope everyone's still listening. I know we stopped talking about politics a long time ago.
I know. For somehow, I don't know how I always get into social stuff. I think it's because it's a bit more interesting.
Well, I think it's because you're willing to like actually talk about it. Yeah. And a lot of people just resist like even having that kind of conversation. Like even if they think the opposite to you or think like maybe differently to you, like people just, like I said, there's a lot of conversations that people are unwilling to have.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic for me because it means I can have them in the spaces that, gap in the market and all that. Hey everyone, thanks for making it right the way to the end of the podcast. I love that you tuned in this long. Do me a favor, hit subscribe because 80% of you bastards are not subscribing, but you're watching my videos. See you next time.